Decision 2016 coverage now. We've invited the candidates for Milwaukee Mayor, County Executive, and State Supreme Court to appear in this segment of our new newscast. And today we have Judge Joanne Kloppenburg. She earned her law degree from Wisconsin, served as an Assistant Attorney General for the State Department of Justice, and was elected to the State Court of Appeals in 2012. She is now running for a 10-year term as Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice. Her opponent, Rebecca Bradley, appeared earlier this month in this very segment. Judge Kloppenburg joins us now this afternoon. Your Honor, thanks so much for being here.
It's my great pleasure.
Well, let's talk about the race as it shapes up. You narrowly lost the race for a seat on the state Supreme Court back in 2011. What do you suppose has changed in the electorate that now opens the door for you getting a seat on the High Court?
Oh, many things have changed. One, I got 750,000 votes then, and I am building on that with a strong ground game around the state as people care about keeping partisan politics and special interests off our court. And that's something that's changed. They get that what the Supreme Court does is important. It makes decisions that have direct, real impacts on their lives and their communities in the state, with such high-profile decisions as the voter ID case, the John Doe investigation cases, and the Act 10 cases, all cases that have raised red flags in the eyes of voters around the state as cases that they believed the outcomes were foregone conclusions. They also get that who the justices are important. They've gotten to know them a little bit, and they get that this race is about the future of our court. It's about what kind of court it ought to be and what kind of justices we should be electing to the court.
Let's focus on judicial independence, particularly since you raised that issue. As the electorate sees it, the race breaks down as Justice Bradley is the conservative jurist and that you would be the liberal jurist. Each of you have tried to describe yourself as the one who is independent. What makes you the independent jurist, even though you have so many liberal causes aligned behind you?
I have people from all over the political spectrum aligned behind me, and people can tell who will deliver on our promise to be independent and impartial on the court by how we got where we are. I was elected to the Court of Appeals in 2012. I've issued over 750 written appellate decisions in the almost 4 years since. Before that, I served all of the people of Wisconsin as an Assistant Attorney General at the Department of Justice, serving under 4 Attorneys General from both political parties, representing all of the people in courts around the state. In contrast, my opponent was appointed 3 times to 3 judgeships in 3 years by Governor Walker. She has a very partisan background, having belonged to the Republican National Lawyers Committee and the very ideologically extreme Federalist Society. The Republican Party is helping to pay for her campaign expenses. They just contributed $27,000 in the last week to her campaign. She left the Supreme Court during oral arguments to go give a campaign speech to Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce, a special interest closely aligned with Governor Walker. She has brought her partisan background with her into this campaign and onto the court. I have a completely nonpartisan background, and I have superior judicial and legal qualifications, and I've represented the interests of all the people of Wisconsin for my entire career.
Let me get to an issue that's been raised by your opponent, trying to paint you as soft on crime. Where will you draw the line? Because we don't have time to get into the specific cases that are raised, but where do you draw the line between balancing the rights of the accused, or in many cases the convicted who come before you in the appeals process, versus protecting the public?
That balance has been struck already by our Constitution, by our statutes, and by the case law, the precedent that I am obliged to follow. And in those 3 cases that her allies picked to attack me on, out of my 750 that I've issued since I've been on the court, I was part of a unanimous panel that applied well-settled law. And those ads are deceitful, they misstate the law, they shamelessly exploit victims of crime, and should have been taken down long ago.
Well, Judge Kloppenburg, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for being here, and good luck to you on April 5th.
Thank you very much.
And once again, Judge Kloppenburg's opponent in this race, Justice Rebecca Bradley, joined us in this segment earlier this month. You can watch that interview as well as this one as soon as we get it posted on our website, TMJ4.com. Still ahead.